I never thought my mother-in-law, Brenda, would take her hatred of me to our wedding day. But when the chapel doors swung open and she walked in wearing a massive, floor-length white lace bridal gown, complete with a veil, I realized the gloves were officially off. My husband, David, and I had been together for 4 years before he finally proposed. David is the sweetest man I've ever met, but he has one major flaw. He's an only child, and Brenda has spent his entire life treating him like her personal possession. From the day I met her, Brenda made it her life's mission to let me know I wasn't good enough for her baby boy. She criticized my cooking, commented on my weight, and even tried to invite David's ex-girlfriend to our engagement party. David always tried to defend me, but he was too soft-hearted to completely cut her off. He kept hoping that, eventually, his mother would learn to accept me. But instead of accepting me, Brenda decided to destroy our wedding. The planning process was a nightmare. Brenda tried to control everything: the flowers, the venue, the guest list. But with the help of my maid of honor, Chloe, I managed to keep her at bay. Chloe has been my best friend since college. She's fiercely loyal, completely no nonsense, and works as a professional event manager. She knows how to handle crises, and more importantly, she knew exactly what kind of monster Brenda was. A week before the wedding, Brenda casually asked me what style of dress I was wearing. I showed her a picture of my classic, off-the-shoulder white ball gown. She smirked, made a passive-aggressive comment about how simple it looked, and said, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll make sure I wear something that really stands out to support my son." I didn't think much of it at the time. I assumed she would just wear a loud, tacky, neon dress. I was wrong. Our wedding was set in a beautiful, upscale botanical garden. We had a gorgeous white tent set up on the manicured lawn, surrounded by blooming rose bushes and expensive stone pathways. I had just finished putting on my makeup in the bridal suite when Chloe walked in. Her face was pale, and she looked absolutely furious. "What's wrong?" I asked, my heart dropping. "Did the caterer cancel?" "No," Chloe said, her voice shaking with anger. "The caterer is fine, but you need to look out the window. Right now." I walked over to the window and looked out at the garden path where guests were starting to arrive. Walking down the path, surrounded by a group of gasping guests, was Brenda. She was wearing a stunning, elaborate, pure white bridal gown. It had sequins, a sweetheart neckline, and a train that brushed the grass. She even had a small white veil pinned into her styled hair. She looked like she was the one getting married. She was smiling and waving at people as if she were the guest of honor. I felt a lump in my throat. Tears welled up in my eyes. "She's wearing a wedding dress," I whispered. "At my wedding. David is going to be devastated." Chloe hugged me tightly. "Do not cry. Do not let that miserable woman ruin your makeup. I promise you, Sarah, she is not going to steal your spotlight today. I'm going to handle this." "How?" I sobbed. "We can't kick her out. David would be heartbroken, and it will cause a massive scene." Chloe got a wicked, mischievous smile on her face. "Trust me, I helped set up this venue. I know the layout of the garden. You just go get ready to walk down the aisle." When it was time for the ceremony to begin, the guests took their seats. David was standing at the altar, looking incredibly handsome but visibly stressed. When he had seen his mother walk in wearing a wedding dress, he had apparently tried to confront her, but Brenda put on a theatrical display of tears, claiming she didn't realize off-white was banned and that she just wanted to feel beautiful for her son's big day. David didn't want to start a physical altercation minutes before the ceremony, so he had to let it go. Brenda sat in the front row, smirking, practically glowing in her white gown. The ceremony went by beautifully, though I could feel the awkward tension in the air. Every time the photographer tried to take a photo of David and me, Brenda would lean into the frame, making sure her white dress was visible. After the vows, it was time for the cocktail hour. The guests moved to the garden terrace. Brenda immediately pushed her way to the center of the lawn, demanding that the photographer take solo portraits of her and David. "Oh, David, look at us!" she cooed loudly so everyone could hear. "Don't we look like the perfect match today? The photographer must get a picture of us in the rose garden." She marched over to the edge of the lawn, right next to the prize-winning rose bushes. She posed, spreading her white train out over the grass, smiling smugly at me from across the yard. That was when I saw Chloe slip away toward the garden's utility shed. 2 seconds later, a loud clank echoed from the shed. Suddenly, a sharp hissing sound filled the air. Before Brenda could even react, the garden's automatic lawn sprinklers shot up from the grass. And because it was a hot summer day, the venue kept the water pressure extremely high. A massive, high-powered stream of recycled, slightly muddy garden water hit Brenda directly in the face. She let out a blood-curdling shriek as the water drenched her from head to toe. The sprinklers near the rose bushes spun around, spraying her repeatedly. The delicate lace of her dress immediately absorbed the muddy water, turning a disgusting, dingy brown. Her heavily styled hair collapsed into wet, stringy mess, and her mascara ran down her face in thick, black streaks. She looked like a drowned rat. The best part? The sprinklers were zoned. Only the zone in the rose garden where Brenda was standing had turned on. The rest of the guests, who were standing on the paved terrace under the tent, remained completely dry. Chloe walked out of the utility shed, holding a clipboard, looking completely innocent. "Oh my goodness!" she yelled. "The timer system must have malfunctioned! Someone turn it off!" It took about 2 full minutes for the venue staff to find the switch and turn the water off. By then, Brenda's expensive bridal gown was ruined, heavy with water and smelling faintly of pond algae and fertilizer. She was shivering, screaming obscenely at Chloe and the staff. "You did this on purpose! You ruined my dress! David, do something!" David walked over, looked at his dripping, mud-stained mother, and then looked at me. For the first time in his life, he didn't defend her. "Mom," David said, his voice cold, "you wore a wedding dress to my wedding. Maybe the universe just decided to wash it for you. You need to go home and change." Brenda gasped, realized no one was going to comfort her, and ran sobbing to her car, leaving a trail of muddy water behind her. The rest of the night was absolutely perfect. Without Brenda there to hover over David, we danced, laughed, and celebrated. When we got back from our honeymoon, we found out Brenda had blocked both of us on social media and was refusing to speak to us. David decided to keep it that way, and we are now low contact with her. As for Chloe, she is officially the godmother of our future children. And every time we look at our wedding album, we can't help but laugh at the empty, dry chair in the front row.